House isn't there. Nobody is there except the protesters and tourists. And so what are we doing? We're pissing people off because they can't get from, and to me it's like, oh no, you can't get from, one war memorial to another war memorial. There's people who are actually having to face some dire consequences because of the decisions that are made in this place. And that's another thing. I read the story from the Union today, and or today or yesterday, whenever it was. Whenever I see the Union, I always think it's the Onion, which is a different paper altogether. But this actually could have been a story out of the Onion, where this Vietnam vet, apparently, who still supports war, doesn't support our freedom to expression, to march, and to say he's here because he's afraid we're going to deface memorials.
It's a lie.
I'm sorry.
It's a lie.
You said something about Sheehan something, but I've never defaced a memorial. I don't even think if I thought it would end the war, I'd do it. But I don't think that, I don't see a purpose in it. I have been allegedly known, however, to put a few peace stickers on recruiting centers and allegedly maybe fake blood. I don't know. That's just an allegation. I'm not admitting anything. But never have defaced a memorial. Like I said, if I thought it would be effective, I'd do it. And then another thing that he said is that, gatherings like this are going to, I guess motivate us to treat veterans badly. Well, this movement that I've been a part of since my son was killed almost 7 years ago is filled with veterans. Veterans for peace, Iraq vets against a war, Vietnam vets against a war. And instead of honoring the right that we have to have our opinions and disagree, it seems like the people who are pro-war want to inhibit that or oppress our position. I just got a sweet note from a lady today, and she said, after calling me names I can't say here, she told me to, America means freedom. So why don't you just shut up? I yelled because it was all in caps. And so she was yelling at me. And so I said, and she called me a hypocrite. And so I said, you call me a hypocrite. I usually don't answer people like that, but sometimes you just have to. I said, you call me a hypocrite, but you say America stands for freedom, and you're telling me to shut up. Only freedom to agree with you. I assume that's what you mean by freedom.
Right.
And so today is a very sad day. Not only did 8 years ago, I remember sitting at home watching Shock and Awe, being shocked and not awed, because I don't know if you know, that wasn't just something that Bush said in a speech, that's actually a doctrine. The shock and awe doctrine that was made by some people at a think tank or a military college or something to actually terrorize, to kill as many people and terrorize the population, to soften it up for ground invasion and an occupation. And I can remember watching it with my son in the military thinking, oh, this is not good, because how many of you, like me, thought that there would be somebody who would have a sane voice in the government, or this was 7 years ago, I would never think that now. But I was hoping that somebody like a Colin Powell would speak up and actually put his job on the line to say, no, that what we're planning to do is wrong. It won't have the effects that you're thinking of it having. And it hasn't. You know, it might have had the effects that they wanted, but they certainly weren't the effects that they told us it was going to have, right? You know, they said that the Iraqi people would welcome our soldiers with flowers and chocolates. You know, that it would be easy. Donald Rumsfeld estimated it would take 6 months and $50 million to complete, to get, you know, Saddam out of power or whatever they were talking about doing there. Well, 8 years later, and like the people who sang before me said, billions and trillions of dollars later, thousands of U.S. lives, hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million Iraqi lives, and millions of Iraqis have been killed, wounded, displaced from their homes. The entire country now has been ethnically cleansed, where it used to be a very bright, vibrant society where people, you know, Sunni, Shia, Christian, Jew, whatever, worked together, lived together, married each other. I talked to an Iraqi parliamentarian a couple years ago in Jordan, in Amman, Jordan. And he said the Shia-Sunni thing is a fabrication. He said if there's a Shia-Sunni fight, what side am I supposed to fight on? My dad's Sunni and my mom's Shia. You know, so now, today, why did they pick today to start bombing Libya? What is that telling us? Is that telling us that they don't care what we say? They don't care what we think? I sent out a few an email to my email list, and that's another thing. I had my car packed with everything I needed yesterday. And I tried to get up yesterday and I couldn't, so I didn't bring my sign-up sheet. But if you want to be on my emailing list, my website is Cindy Sheehan Soapbox. It's real easy, Cindy Sheehan Soapbox. And you just press sign up and you get on my emailing list. And to get all these wonderful words of wisdom and inflammatory writings and things that make some people want to call me the C word. And so
That's entertaining.
yeah, I just got called out. He's like, this guy's like, oh, you're such a hypocritical C word. He didn't say C word though. He goes, what did Libya ever do to us? You get off your ASS and go protest, you BITCH. And so I sent something out last week denouncing the U.S. UN resolution against Libya. Because, of course, I'm not for Gaddafi, like killing his own citizens, but I don't think we kill Libyans to save Libyans. That just doesn't make sense to me. There's so many other things we can do besides bombing them. And so today, part of the resolution, part of the UN Security Council countries, France, started bombing in Libya. And they say they bombed military tanks. They say they bombed the military targets. But that's what Clinton, his administration, said for all the years that they had the sanctions and the bombing campaigns in Iraq. But I've talked to my contacts in Iraq and from Iraq, and they say that there's been at least 2 million. There was at least 2 million Iraqis killed or died of the effects of the sanctions during the sanction period. And another thing is that the bombs that it's mind-boggling to me. Satellites, allegedly, can read a postage stamp from outer space, right? But they say that their drones, you know, the drones that they're using in northern Pakistan and in the tribal regions between Pakistan and Afghanistan, they're slaughtering civilians. saying